Hey, it's Courtland Sutton, and you're listening to the Fantasy Footballers.
Welcome to the Fantasy Footballers Podcast with your hosts, Andy Holloway, Jason Moore, and Mike Wright.
Oh, welcome in.
Why are you pointing at me?
Because tomorrow's football time. I want you to remember.
It's Wednesday, brother.
I panicked. I knew we were talking about Thursday Night Football, and I panicked, and I thought it was Thursday. And I was giving you the signal, and it all went sideways.
We were talking about the games. Got a 53-point over-under.
Yes.
Spoiler, my Hungry for More is going to be Zay Flowers. So I'm with you, Andy, and you start pointing to Mike. I'm like, oh, yeah, it's football time.
I know.
And then we point at you, and you're like, you held firm, brother.
Yeah, well, because I was way off.
Why I gotta be the only one who knows what's going on over
Why
here?
is everyone pointing at me?
It is indeed not football time.
Well, good morning.
Very soon.
Good
it will
morning.
be tomorrow.
It's almost always football time, Mike.
This week, the Thursday Night Football will take place on Thursday.
Okay.
All right.
Look, sometimes things get crazy, and we get Monday night games on Friday. So I understand the confusion.
Yeah, they've done the Monday Night Football game on Saturday,
Yeah,
and it's
'cause
still called Monday Night
That's
Football.
the brand.
That's not okay.
That's so
Monday
stupid.
Night Football presents Saturday Night Football.
Right. You can't.
It's so dumb.
Your brand can't be a day of the week. That's not. Nobody can claim that as your brand.
I'm a little disappointed that my vigorous pointing at you didn't lead to you just saying something.
You got me.
It's Wednesday.
You got me to look over at the top right corner to be like, no, it's Wednesday.
Oh, it is. It's Wednesday, November 6th. Welcome into the Fantasy
You
Footballers.
almost got me.
Welcome in one and all. We have a great show for you today. We've got Hungry for More. We've got your waivers went through today, so make sure you drop it like it's hot. Check out who was released by the other teams in your league. That is our weekly reminder to do that because sometimes somebody great hits the waiver wire. So,
It does
pay
happen.
attention. And a reminder here at the top, go download the mobile app. Go to your iOS store, your Google Play store, grab the Fantasy Footballers in-season app. Right now, the Foot Clan resources, the ultimate dashboard, now available on iOS, coming very soon, hopefully this week, to Android. So you can get the app now, grab the update when it comes through, and you can access the ultimate dashboard with a custom waiver wire, with your lineup optimizer as you get ready for the fantasy football playoffs, which are, they're inching closer. We're getting there. It's November.
Yeah, I want to.
It's cold. It's cold outside.
It's not playoff time yet, Andy.
Okay.
I think it's worth actually bringing up that it's not that close to playoffs. As a team that's kind of on the bubble in our league of record, having to make choices as to am I in, am I out? It's a keeper league, so pretty much half teams sell, half teams buy. Near the trade deadline, there are still several weeks left before week 15 when the fantasy playoffs start. So
we got 5.
We got 6, right? Or 5 full games before then.
Yeah.
10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
we
did
it.
5 full weeks, and you're going to have people giving up. You're going to have a couple teams along the path that are easier victories. So if you're considered, we get this question all the time. It's like, I don't know if I should go for it or if I shouldn't. If you have a shot, go for it. I genuinely believe that. That's the best advice because if you make it to the playoffs, you can get lucky a couple wins in a row and go home with a championship.
I'm with you. If you bow out, you're definitely sad and a loser. If you go for it, you might win.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably going to be a loser because
But you might.
11 out of 12 or 9 out of 10 of us are losers at the end of every single league, and we still choose to do this.
So, Mike, you're going to go for it?
The dynasty, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mike's dynasty team, and I'm going to start setting this up publicly. Mike's dynasty team is one of the greatest teams ever assembled in
I
our
know what
league.
you're doing.
The thing
in our
won't
league
work.
history.
The thing that sucks about his team, genuinely, is it can't lose, Andy. It just
I know what you're doing.
There's no
It won't work.
There's no way that
No,
his team could
Mike, this is not a gag. This is
falter.
legit.
It's so legit. No, it really is legit.
The players, your management, you can't even mess this up.
Yeah, it's unstoppable.
You
Congrats,
could put
man.
any players from
Not
your
gonna
bench.
work, guys.
Well, just like you keep saying, you keep telling us you don't even know why we care about that league. You got it on lockdown. We're just agreeing with you that you have it on lockdown and there's no way anything bad could happen.
I'm just going to say that the way you're talking right now, it sounds like you do actually care, and you shouldn't.
What?
You should not.
I do
okay.
care. I care to see you.
We're shooting for second.
That's what I want. I hope you get third.
Me and you, second, third.
Yeah.
That's fair. That would be, if you're aiming for second, you guys are both aiming really high.
Okay. All right. Well, this is good.
The highest you could possibly get this year in that league.
We'll keep this going. All right. Follow us on X at the FF Ballers. I mentioned the app, and we've got a new Dynasty podcast out today. If you're unfamiliar, we have a special Dynasty podcast, Fantasy Footballers Dynasty, and Jason is on it with Kyle and Betts, giving out some midseason Dynasty awards, including, and I'm reading this verbatim, the most disappointing youngin', the running back Houdini, and
Value's
the
gone.
super flex quarterback surprise.
Yeah.
That's Darnold.
He was. We each give one. So there wasn't one. We actually cover quite a few players, but players that are moving the needle in both directions. Either it's gone poorly for them, Travis Etienne, or there's sky's the limit ahead.
Yeah, and from a dynasty perspective. So check that out. We're hungry for more.
Welcome to Hungry for More, presented by Uber Eats.
All right, this week's Hungry for More candidate for me. I am hungry, and this is true hunger here. I'm hungry for a Tampa Bay wide receiver to stand up because Baker won't stop cooking, man. He's been so good this year that he's turned now Cade Otton into a top 5 tight end. He's completing 72% of his passes. He's on pace for 4,543, and we're multiple games without his top targets at wide receiver. Those numbers from Baker, he would be the only quarterback ever to put up those 3 numbers, the 72%, the 4,500, the 43, since Drew Brees did it in 2011. Yeah, that's right. Laser Mayfield has been outstanding, but we have spent 2.5 weeks talking about, is it Jalen McMillan, and then maybe it's Trey Palmer, and then Sterling Shepard makes some plays, but he's almost 32 years old, and Raheem Jarrett. Will a wide receiver option please stand up? Because I think if they do, if one of them does, we will be having the same conversation we had with Cade Otton. We will be talking about somebody important for fantasy.
And I think we will, and I think we know who it's going to be.
But see, I don't know what name you're going to say. And
Michael Evans. Do not forget he is coming back with the injury to Chris Godwin and how Baker has been cooking. They've got a tough matchup this week against San Francisco. Not a great matchup. I don't expect Mike Evans back. The bye week after that. So you're not having Mike Evans, for a handful of more weeks. I expect him back after the bye. And then they've got a great stretch down the road. So I do think Mike Evans is going to be a difference maker.
So you think that maybe we won't have another wide receiver stand up? It'll be Otton and Evans for the meaningful portion of the year.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hungry as well for one to do it. I just don't know that they have the talent. I would say Jalen McMillan would be the player I am most excited about. He's a good, looking prospect. He's had a successful rookie season. The opportunity is there. That's who I would put my chips on as the ancillary wide receiver piece. Problem is he's just injured right now.
Yeah.
Obviously Mike Evans injured too, but Mike Evans, second ballot Hall of Famer, so he will be he'll be coming back to greatness.
They have lost 4 of their last 5 games, Tampa.
Wow.
And Baker's doing
That
everything
feels
he
so
can.
wrong.
I know Baker's doing everything he can to make it happen. I mean, he lost by 10 to Baltimore in a shootout, 41-31, then lost to Atlanta by 5, then lost to Kansas City in overtime. So it's like, can those 3 losses, they're so close, they should count as one win?
No,
That's not how it works.
Not in my NFL.
The NFL doesn't do median.
Okay. Well, Jason, who?
Oh, I did have a great idea for the NFL, by the way. Speaking of NFL going by median, I think I brought this up, but This is not a joke. This is legitimate.
Oh, yes.
This is legitimate. I'm telling you right now, they need to take a page out of fantasy football, and the tiebreaker for playoffs is not divisional record or head-to-head matchup. It's points scored. Dude, that would be so awesome. You want to know who people want in the playoffs? They want the highest scoring teams.
That is a wild thought, because my immediate reaction was, there is no more taking your quarterback out.
Yeah, that's right.
In the fourth quarter.
No,
of
that's right.
Run it up.
It's running up the score.
The gentleman's knee when you get inside the 5.
There ain't no gentleman anymore.
This is professional football. Stop us if you don't want us to score. None of these whiny coaches being like, "Damn it, points, No, that was poor coaching. You're fired. No, I would love it. I think it would be so much fun. And NFL,
you would be totally justified in scoring.
Yeah,
and hurting your players. It would be horrible for player safety.
I mean, the truth is, the teams that are clearly playoff bound wouldn't really worry about that if they're up by a ton and they bench their players in the fourth. Whatever.
It's so funny.
It's the teams that are on that bubble that want to get in the playoffs. You want to get in the playoffs, score.
Yeah, put points up.
Anyways, I'm hungry for more Zay Flowers. Zay Flowers this last week impressed the heck out of me. He was always wide open. But then when guys tried to tackle him, he was like, no, I'm still wide open because you can't catch me. I'm a human joystick. He was so good, and it kind of surprised me to go back and look, because at the start of the season, the first 3 weeks, Mark Andrews wasn't getting it done. Zay Flowers had a good week 2, but week 1 was a dud. Week 3 was a bust. So it was like there was no trust.
So was week 4.
Yeah, it just felt over the first month like there wasn't a trustworthy source. And it has surprised me. You know, you just don't always remember what happened last week, next week, and then the week after. But the last 5 weeks, he's been on an absolute tear. The wide receiver 13, 6, down week with 3.5 fantasy points. The wide receiver 11 and the wide receiver 2. He's been extremely involved. He's looked great. And so what I'm really hungry about, they go out and they trade for Deontay Johnson, and that made me fearful for Zay Flowers. You know, there's just – when Lamar runs so much and sometimes the passing pie is not as big as you would want, you're like, well, it's okay if the targets are consolidated, but if they're not, and if Deontay Johnson comes in here and starts earning himself 6, 7, 8 targets in a game, that's going to crush Zay Flowers. I don't want that to happen because Zay Flowers has – right now, I don't think you can bench Zay Flowers. And until Deontay comes in and changes the landscape, Zay Flowers has just been too darn good, and his good performances have been great. I mean, they're wide receiver 1 on the week type of numbers.
He is he is wide receiver 6 on the year in total points scored. You bring something to mind, and tell me if I'm wrong. But so far, Amari Cooper gets traded to Buffalo, right? Keon Coleman has some great weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Devontae Adams gets traded to the Jets, and Garrett Wilson has had some great weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Now Deontay Johnson has the Baltimore, and welcome Zay Flowers. I mean,
you're just saying people need more motivation.
I'm
like,
saying
they
that,
need to be scared. Like, you better step it up.
mean, we just talked yesterday about the incredible splits this year between T. Higgins on the field and T. Higgins off the field for Jamar Chase. I just think a better offense – it raises all the water. What is the boat? The boats have water in them.
Yeah.
No,
there's no water in the boats.
Flip the boats.
The tide raises all shit.
That's the one.
There it is. So what you're saying is obviously CeeDee Lamb's
Oh,
about to
yeah,
go
with
ham.
Mingo?
Now that they went out and traded a 4th
There you go.
for Mingo.
I
did actually, just, full disclosure,
Whoa.
full work of the analysis. I had a dream that CeeDee Lamb scored like 50 points the rest of the season. So
50 total?
Yeah, every week. Every week just dominated with the backup. So, I mean.
This was last night?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think that's going to happen.
But we don't know yet. So
yeah.
TBD.
Maybe, yeah, we'll see. Mike, oh, boy.
Rico Dowdle, baby, come on.
Of course.
You know who I was going to be hungry for more? I unfortunately was unavailable for the show the week after the huge Rico week earlier in the season, but I'm here for it now, baby. 12
That's true. You did miss out on your chance.
Yeah, 12 for – oh, my chance is back. 12 for 75, 5 for 32 and a score. And a debate about Rico is simply just, is he good? Is he a good running back? And I think that the jury is still kind of out on that. However, right now, this far in the season, he is 5th among all running backs in rush success rate on the season. And what that is, a play is successful when it gains at least 40% of yards to go on first, 60% of yards to go on second, or 100% of the yards on third or fourth down, meaning the guy is absolutely getting it done on the ground. And also,
I
want to play a game.
I was just going to say that I have felt the table rumble under the fist pounding of Mike over there. Every point he's made on Rico Dowdle, he has hit our table.
This is going to be
go
a fun
ahead,
game.
Mike. Let's play a game. We don't want to play.
Please don't say Breece Hall or someone.
we're going to talk about Rico Dowdle working in the passing game.
Okay.
We're going to put him up against superstar pass-catching running backs.
This is a problem, Jason.
Rico Dowdle has appeared in 7 games this year, guys.
Okay.
So has Travis Etienne. Who has more receiving yards? Superstar first-round pick Travis Etienne or Rico Dowdle?
Etienne's been hurt.
Yeah, Rico Dowdle. Is that 7 full games? I doubt it.
Okay, well.
I dowdle it.
Okay, well, what's your answer?
Dowdle.
I'm going to go Dowdle.
Yes, Travis Etienne, a measly 97 receiving yards in 7 games. Let's go to then let's see. Superstar running back Saquon Barkley, who has played in 8 games compared to 7 for Rico Dowdle. Who has more receiving yards?
Now we're talking.
Yeah, okay. You're making a strong, stupid point. I'm going to go Rico Dowdle.
It is, in fact, Rico Dowdle. Good for Jason. That's a full point.
Thank you.
Superstar pass-catching running back Jahmyr Gibbs.
No.
Who has been in 8 games compared to 7 for Rico Dowdle.
I've got to go Gibbs. I can't go that far.
It's going to be Dowdle.
No, it is Jahmyr Gibbs.
Okay, I get a full point.
Yes, but here's the thing: who has more receptions?
Well, now I'm gonna go Rico.
It's
Dowdle.
Rico Dowdle. Jahmyr Gibbs.
Objection,
Jahmyr Gibbs,
leading the witness.
In 8 games, Jahmyr Gibbs has 165 receiving yards. In 7 games, Rico Dowdle has 163 receiving yards.
Hey, I had a nice parlay on Dowdle's over this last week.
So,
I see the receptions.
I don't know what the heck the Cowboys are doing. The Cowboys don't know what they are doing. But the point being, just let Rico Dowdle be your running back for the rest of the year.
You have been
Stop with the bull crap.
You have been begging for this.
Stop putting dusty, washed running backs who had great Zeke. It was awesome. The career of Zeke should be celebrated. The career of Dalvin Cook should be celebrated. But as in, we're celebrating it because
past tense.
Because it's over. Just let it be done. Let the good times be what they were in our memories. Move forward.
Okay.
Let Rico Dowdle fifth among all running
Become
backs
a monk.
in rush success rate, dominating in the passing game. And by the way, I didn't even do receiving touchdowns. He has more.
How are you
than
not
all
in a
those
Rico
guys.
Dowdle jersey right now? Do they sell those?
So I am 100% hungry for more Rico Dowdle. The upcoming matchup against Philadelphia, it will be a true test with a backup quarterback. How good will it work out for fantasy? I don't know.
Okay, I just one question for you, Mike.
Yes.
What percentage chance do you give the Dallas Cowboys to have Ezekiel Elliott as the lead back this week? More or less than 0%?
It's higher than 0.
Yeah, this is the issue.
I agree, but I'm just trying to get people to the point of, like, no, if Rico's on the field, we got ourselves a top 20 fantasy running back. That's happening. But will he be on the field? I don't know, because Jerry Jones has no idea what he's doing.
By the way, a quick update to the Mike Evans comment. We just got word that he is working off to the side with a trainer today, a first step in working towards returning after the bye, which is the plan.
If he's working to the side right now, you've got essentially 3 weeks before he plays football, 2 missed weeks of fantasy action. He should be ready to go. Do we have any updates on Nico Collins?
No updates on
They're
Nico
still
Collins.
evaluating.
Who did you trade for him again?
Everybody.
I traded my second, my third, which are the 2 best picks. I traded Tank Dell, who would be really good if Nico's gone. Puka Nacua, but I got Jonathan.
There were other pieces.
Yeah, I got Jonathan Taylor back. Real quick before we move on, because we're hungry for more, and I just had this pulled up when I was looking at Zay Flowers. I was just really surprised. Lamar, we know he's been good, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's been very, very good.
He should probably win the MVP.
Yeah, I think he might be one of the players that actually deserves to win the MVP, not just being the quarterback on the best team. But how many rushing yards do you think he's on pace for?
Oh, that's a good question.
I don't know.
I think it's
More than Rico Dowdle?
yeah, probably more than Rico
Yeah,
Dowdle.
yeah.
I don't know. I'm going to say a little bit like lower though than the average that he's been giving.
Right,
us.
so maybe like 700. He's on pace for 953
I was
rushing
wrong.
yards. How many passing yards do you think he's on pace for? Given that he's on pace for 953 rushing yards.
Are we 4K?
4?
4,500
Let's go,
passing
baby.
yards. How many passing touchdowns do you think he's on pace for?
35?
37.8. I mean,
Dude.
he is a monster
This-
across all. He hasn't had a single week this week where he's not a quarterback one.
This week?
This is
single.
the this is the Lamar that we hoped we were going to get last year.
We've
And
had
we
it a
didn't-
couple
Well, I'm
times
saying
in his
when the
career.
offense
Yeah.
changed last year,
Yep.
like this was the excitement that he's going to run, and I got to give this whole one update here of Jerry Jones doesn't know what he's doing.
Oh, boy.
Jerry Jones talking about Trey Lance in the absence of Dak Prescott. Quote, he's going to be front and center a lot. There are things we can do with him, and I think can add punch to the offense. So
Is he playing a different position?
I
What in God's name does he mean? Mike, what did you say the other day, like 3 weeks ago to Jerry?
I was kind of mean, but I said, Jerry Jones, shut up.
Shut up!
Do you think they would trade Trey Lance for Braylon Allen?
Yeah.
I only say that
yeah.
because they gave up their pick that they could have drafted Braylon Allen or a lot of the running backs this year. Instead, they have Trey Lance as their backup.
just wild. So
Yeah, okay.
maybe we'll get Trey Lance on the field.
This is just entertainment. Sorry, Cowboys fans. That was Hungry for More, presented by Uber Eats, where you can get the best deals on game day food all season long. Uber Eats, the official on-demand delivery partner of the NFL. Order now. We will take a break. We'll jump into the news. I just feel like if you're the head coach of the Cowboys, did you talk to Jerry about this? Or do you have to hear this through the media and then go, what are we doing with Trey Lance?
He probably is hearing about it through the media.
What am I going to do? I have a plan for Trey Lance. I didn't know that.
I can't imagine Jerry's not everywhere.
What if
I
he
think
just
Jerry's,
sends texts like every couple minutes?
Yeah, I'll bet he does.
You hear about this Mingo guy?
Well, I got him for you.
What do you?
You're
You gave
welcome.
up what? You give up an 8th round pick, 9th round pick? Doesn't exist? No, 4th. All right, moving on.
News and notes from around the league. Presented by USAA Insurance.
Well, the Steelers did not get Brandon Ayuk. They did not get Devontae Adams. They didn't get DeAndre Hopkins, but they did get Mike Williams. They gave up a 5th round pick to get Mike Williams from the Jets, 30 years old.
Incoming
Honestly,
George Pickens game?
What's that?
Incoming George Pickens game?
Well, look, I do think Mike Williams kind of works in this offense better than other offenses he could have been traded to. I mean, I guess they'll just run their guys down the field and chuck it. But Russ can do that. It means nothing to me in fantasy
I think it is great for George Pickens.
to have another
You just have
body.
another capable wide receiver on the team, and more of the Steelers since the beginning of the season have been trying to get a wide receiver too. It could have, if Adams goes to the Steelers, what do we think of Pickens? We're super freaked out. So Mike Williams is not someone where you're like, oh no, targets will not be going to George Pickens. The targets will remain the same, and they might be even better now.
That was the big piece of news. Trevor Lawrence also limited in practice, dealing with a shoulder injury. The team signed C.J. Beathard off the practice squad, and Khalil Herbert, new member of the Cincinnati Bengals, likely to get an opportunity on the field on Thursday, as soon as Thursday. So generally easy for running backs to make the transition and get some opportunities.
Yeah, Burrow was talking about it And he's like, he's right next to me. I'll tell him what to do.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, that's it. All right, that was today's news and notes presented by USAA Insurance. Learn more at usaa.com/insurance. Let's talk about that game.
Thursday Night Breakdown.
Cincinnati's 4-5, still alive.
That's wild. They were dead.
They're used to this,
They
man.
were-
It's just how they operate.
They were 2-5, right? So,
They were dead, and now they can be one game. If they win, you're one game back of the Ravens.
the Ravens are 6-3. Yeah, you're right. And Baltimore's at home. They're 6-point favorites. The over/under is 53 on DraftKings Sportsbook. It's currently the highest over/under of any game so far in 2024. Week 5, we saw 79 points. It was an overtime
yeah.
game. Baltimore won 41-38. Lamar threw for 348 and 4. This is the game that Jamar Chase had 10 for 193 and 2. Higgins had a big game as well. Not expected to play in this one.
No, it doesn't seem like it.
The Baltimore pass funnel defense is giving up the most passing yards per game, combined with what Joe Burrow has been doing. He's on pace for over 4,500 passing yards. I guess I'm asking, like, what?
Who are you not starting?
Yeah, I mean, this game just feels like it should be entertaining, exciting. Like, think about the different scenarios in this one. Like, Baltimore's favored, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Baltimore gets ahead. You expect Cincinnati to still be successful passing the football, trying to get back into the game.
Mm-hmm.
If Cincinnati gets ahead, it's going to be great. Baltimore can get back into the game at a moment's notice. Like, I don't see a scenario where a blowout undermines any fantasy production.
No, well, I mean, the only way that it happens, and I don't expect it to happen, would be probably to Derrick Henry. He can still be game scripted out a little bit of these games. Get Justice Hill on the field if you're needing to play catch up. The truth is they haven't needed to play catch up a lot this year. Derrick Henry's rushing stat lines in Ravens wins: 25 for 151 and 2. 24 for 199 and a touchdown, 15 for 92 and a touchdown, 24 for 132 and 2, 15 for 169, and 23 for 106 and 2. Right now they're favored by 6. They're at home. So you expect Derrick Henry to have an unbelievable game.
That 15 for 92 with a score was Cincinnati.
I mean, that's a great game.
Yeah.
In the last 6 weeks, both defenses have been top 10 against the running backs. Chase Brown, last week his game was it was a great football game, but he had a receiving touchdown in it. Are you you got to be confident
Yes.
in Chase Brown, right?
Yes, Chase Brown has taken the lead job. Even if Khalil Herbert plays, I don't expect it to be like, oh, he's going to go into Zach Moss's role. And we're talking Zach Moss for the beginning of the season. Chase Brown is going to be the guy for this running back crew. And Herbert will get snaps here and there. Like Chase Brown was, I think he was 100%. Yeah, 100% of the running back attempts, 47% workhorse percentage, which is like 47% of attempts and targets. That's too much for any player to do on a week-to-week basis.
Let me ask you a question, though, because Chase Brown was not a player drafted to be your starting running back. He's evolved into that. That means he's on a lot of teams where they had other established running backs, and you have to make start-sit decisions about some of those guys. You see the big game from Brown last week. Players like J.K. Dobbins, right, who's had a lull, had a good game. He plays a tough Tennessee defense, or Chase Brown on Thursday night. Which way would you go?
I have them back-to-back in my rankings, and right now I've got Dobbins one spot ahead, but it's a great name to bring up. For me, I would play Chase Brown simply because I get more information on the week. If they are literally that close, they're in the exact same tier, the exact same setup where they're going to get the ball a lot against a very difficult run defense. Give me the high over-under and give me the Thursday night football so that I know when I'm looking at the rest of my roster moves, did I get off to a strong start? Did I have a dud week? Do I need to swing for the fences? That extra information is good for getting a W.
Well, I want players in a game where the over-under is the highest of the year.
So if it's the game we expect and Higgins misses, which he hasn't practiced, obviously Chase is in your lineup and he'll be fine. But where do you turn to for that other, 23.5 implied point total? Where do you turn to for other value? Is it Yoshivas? Is it Sticky Gesicki?
Yeah, Sticky Gesicki should be really, really good in this game. I know you blew our minds with the fact that he only played 36% of snaps, but when he's on the field, he's a pass catcher. He is there to exploit a defensive play. He's got 8 targets, 6 targets the last 2 games without T. Higgins at the tight end position. Now, what's interesting would be the conversation of what if you've got Mike Gesicki and Mark Andrews? Because
I have seen that already on X this morning. Those questions coming through. And
Isaiah Likely is not going to play. He's been a DNP on Monday and Tuesday with a hamstring. So I'll just be surprised if on a short week Isaiah Likely plays. With him out,
how sticky do you want to get?
I would go Andrews personally.
I tend to lean the other direction where I feel like I would go Gesicki. I would go pass catcher. I'm not sure that Andrews isn't blocking a ton in this game.
I think that the Ravens their team applied total is almost 30 points.
That's a good reason to believe.
You talk about the touchdowns Andrews has had recently. Which player has a higher likelihood of a touchdown? It's definitely Andrews.
And just the last week was
it's close, man.
Last week was a total bust, but they beat Denver 41-10. They shut guys down early. Zay Flowers ran 4 more routes than Mark Andrews.
Well, and each of his routes were to the house.
Yeah, and so he was ending drives on those catches. So this was not the production wasn't there. I'm just saying the Mark Andrews role it wasn't, oh crap, we're back to week 2 where Andrews is not involved in the passing game at all.
Here's the real truth of the matter. Andrews has the higher odds in this game to score a touchdown. If neither player scores a touchdown, I think you'll be happier with Gesicki.
I would agree with that.
Even on this year, I don't know if you know this, but on the year, Mark Andrews has 29 total targets on the year. Gesicki
that sounds about right.
Gesicki has 36 targets, and he's playing far fewer snaps and was sharing time.
Yeah, I agree with what your statement is. The higher likelihood for a touchdown is Andrews. If neither player gets a touchdown, you're probably happier with Gesicki because more targets and yardage.
Yeah. Andrews is averaging 32 yards a game this year.
I would still go the Andrews side personally. I think the likelihood for a touchdown is relatively high.
Okay. All right, we'll turn the page here. Let's jump into the mailbag.
Mailbag.
It's a good time to check out the Strength of Schedule tool at jointhefoot.com.
Yes,
just one of the many premium tools we make available to our listeners. So check that out at jointhefoot.com.
And now just jointhefoot.com.
And the app.
And the app now.
Yeah.
It's all on the app.
That's right.
That's
right. That's a good point.
Download that.
If you have a question for the show, you can always go to the website, thefantasyfootballers.com, click the Submit a Question button, or dial our voicemail hotline, 302-464-TFFB. First question we got from YouTube, what to do, this is from Ryler Little, what to do with Jonathan Brooks, question mark? Because Chuba is a good player.
Mm-hmm.
Chuba just scored again last week, your start of the week. What do you do?
I don't think I'm playing him. Well, we need the full activation news as well. Kyle, can you just we didn't miss that, hopefully. I'm not playing him this week. It will be it's going to be really interesting to watch here of do they go back to Bryce Young? What does this team do? Because Chuba is an unrestricted free agent going into next year. If I'm the Carolina Panthers, I'm not going to overwork Brooks, but I at least want him to get some
need to
acclimation.
know what you have.
Yeah, exactly. I want to get some acclimation into the NFL, and hopefully, if I'm running the Panthers, I'm in about a 50-50 timeshare by the end of the year with him and Chuba, just to see what I have.
I think a lot of my opinion on Brooks has to do with what does he look like on the field? Does this look like a special player, or does this look like, kind of how Trey Benson is muddled along this year? Does he? Which Benson's had some plays, but it's not.
It's taken time.
Yeah, it's taken time, and that's normal. But it does tell you something. Like if you come out there and Jonathan Brooks, you bring up Etienne and his passing game work in Miami. If Jonathan Brooks is a obviously superior pass catcher that brings something special to the offense, which is something he could be doing, It's going to dictate his playing time.
Yeah, I'm excited to have Jonathan Brooks. There's no world where you should be starting him this week. We have no idea his utilization. They might, in his first game back from the ACL, they might give him 5 total opportunities in the game to just kind of ease him back into getting hit for the first time by an NFL defender. I wouldn't be surprised at that. Now, my expectation is more than that. I think they're going to give him a lot of the Miles Sanders role that he has had, which has not been significant, but like a couple weeks ago when I on the parlay partay was looking at Chuba Hubbard's over on reception totals, and I'm watching the game. I'm like, man, the passing work, like the packages they're bringing in Miles Sanders, they've clearly got him as the passing game guy, not in the 2-minute drill. It was like the end of the game 2-minute drill where Chuba hit that mark. But I could see them working him in the passing game. So that's what I'm watching for more than anything is do they bring him in on designed screens more than once? And I think they will, and if they do, that'll be a good signal to, 1, see how he looks, and 2, get him more involved for fantasy.
Todd Gurley, not that they're the same player, of course, but Todd Gurley was coming into the NFL off of an ACL tear, and his first game was week 3. He had 7 opportunities. The Rams then turned everything over to Todd Gurley. I don't know if that'll happen for Brooks, but the timing of – we're in week 10, correct?
We're going into week 10. Yeah.
So they will play the Giants, and then they're going to go into the bye week. So the optimistic view is he goes out there, looks good, and maintains health. Like he's still good to go. They go into the bye week, and then they say, yeah, let's roll with Brooks from here on out. That's the possible positive spin of it.
He needs to be activated by 4 p.m. Eastern today, so we will know for sure if he is going
in a few hours. Yeah,
if he's going to play football this year.
Well, to me, the more significant fantasy impact might actually be on the other side of the equation, because through 9 weeks, Chuba Hubbard's a top 10 running back. Chuba Hubbard has been outstanding. So if you, depending on what you believe about Jonathan Brooks' involvement and what this team's going to do, I don't think they're going. Here's what I truly believe about their relationship with Chuba Hubbard. I think they love him.
I do.
I think they love the player. I think they love the locker room guy, and I doubt they're going to try to subvert his opportunity to go out and get a contract if he's not coming back to this team as well. So they want to win ball games. Dave Canales has to win ball games. It was proven last year with Frank Reich that if you don't win in year 1, you can be fired halfway through the season. So that balancing act is going to be interesting. Chuba Hubbard has been outstanding. Do you know what he's averaging yards per carry this year? If you had to guess,
about 4.5.
5.
Wow.
He's averaging 5. He has 665 rushing yards. He has been a top, running back the majority of the year. His bad games are like running back 26 and 34 in the last 8 weeks. So it is one to watch, and whether you're getting to start Chuba Hubbard rest of the year or not, it's going to depend on what they do. I don't think this team is looking at it the way that fantasy players do, which is we got to get our next guy in there forever right now. They already told us that they told us before the season that Jonathan Brooks would play by week 3 or 4. That was the quote from Dave Canales. It's week 10. They also said a week ago he might not even play this year.
Well, we'll know in a couple hours. In a couple hours, if he's not
even
activated,
if he's active, though, I mean, the workload could stay minimal to protect him for next year when you need him.
That could be true. I certainly think down the stretch, they have to get him playing time and see for the future. They don't want to break the man, but they certainly want to get him ready for next year as an NFL player. So to me, you've got Chuba, who's been outstanding. The team likes him, but 74% of snaps, 82% of snaps, 84% of snaps, 79%. Chuba has been, almost a bell cow here for Carolina. So his fantasy production has been good. He's been fine on a per touch basis, but I don't expect that to hold. So if Jonathan Brooks is activated here in a couple hours, which I expect, then I'm looking to trade Chuba because Chuba's been great. People are running back needy, and they might not be aware.
No, I don't think they're trading for Chuba.
They might not, but I would float it out there. I'd use him in a couple trade offers.
I'd trade Brooks. on the promise of the activation. That's what I would do.
I'm fine with that too.
And what are the odds that he doesn't get activated today? Because there is a chance the team
it's greater than 0.
Yeah, the team could say, nah, let's just make sure we've got Chuba, we've got Miles Sanders, and we're not winning. Like, we're not going to the playoffs. So let's just make sure you're okay next year.
Yeah, I mean, Canales did say that there's a chance, but that quote, when you watch the whole press conference, it really felt like we're excited to get him back. We've got plans for him, and it's like, well, is there any chance he doesn't come back? And he's like, sure, yeah, there's a chance.
What are the odds that we could extend this conversation on this show until that 4 p.m. Eastern?
Oh,
if
man,
anyone can do it,
a long time.
If anybody can do it.
My last thought is, holy crap, if he doesn't get activated and you spent a second-round pick on a running back to not play a year of a 4-year contract is that's bad management.
Yeah, I think that's not what you would have expected to have happen.
Yeah.
It could be the best decision for them now. I don't know. I don't know that. I wouldn't presume to know that. This question comes in from Instagram. My league doesn't like to trade. What can I do to change that?
Make trades.
I saw you got a really good trade done yesterday, Jay.
I did. So
you
one of the
swapped
things
your
you can
ninth round
do,
pick or your
my
sixth round
sixth round pick for their 9th round pick.
That seems like bad value.
Yeah.
I saw that trade come through, and I didn't know what happened.
Yeah, so
no other trade followed it when you reversed it.
Yeah, he wanted to leave it there for a minute to have the league go wild about it before we undo.
Yeah, what happened?
It was a trade that we were going back and forth on for Baker Mayfield and a pick swap, and then
was
he had
the swap
offered
6-9?
Yeah, and
okay.
Baker just was forgotten to be added to the deal. And they immediately accepted it. Yeah.
We're getting old, Mike. You got to accept this.
You guys are just a circus act.
I mean,
This
I'm just
year-
happy to report it's been mostly Andy this year.
This year, okay, listen. Okay, it's happened twice.
You have
Listen.
twice in our league traded
Here's what's happened, okay?
Your
fab for nothing.
And a player for nothing.
Listen, here's what has happened, and this has never happened before. We've got doofuses in the league. I include myself in that category. I have put out publicly, because we did not have fab trading for years. We finally added fab trading. Sometimes, like Jason, you're like, hey, Anthony Richardson, available for fab. They sent $2 fab. You sent Anthony Richardson.
Done deal. Yeah.
Swip swap. I have been so over-eager that sometimes I've been like, who's the player I was trying to give you guys, Josh? Who was the one that I said was available in trade for
Caleb?
$5?
Oh,
it was Caleb Williams
Yeah.
early in the year. So I'm like, hey, Caleb's available for fab. Instantly, I get an offer that to me looked like
2 offers.
two offers, and they're the same offer. I thought they were $5 fab for Caleb. Turns out 2 doofuses decided to send me Caleb and my fab for nothing.
Your
All you have to
only
do
fab.
is read.
I'm too I thought I got a cool trade. I was excited, and I
started a
smacked.
bidding war as well between
Wait,
us.
so is that what happened to the Cowboys?
Oh, that's probably they were
They
excited.
didn't read it. They were just like, Mingo, we've loved Mingo.
Yeah,
Except.
yes.
Mingo-
that was a 4th?
And they were like, wait, no, we thought you were giving us the 4.
Yeah, Mingo and
How
a
did
4th.
this turn into me? You traded a 6 for a 9 yesterday.
It was just an accidental click. And also, for all the leagues out there, if you're in a good league, if people make accidents, undo it. That's just like
No, I am not Jerry Jones. Yeah. Anyways, we've had some comedic mishaps.
But to
What do you do to make people trade? Because I've seen this so many times. Every year, people are they hear us talk about trades on the show. They get jealous. They want their league to be active and vibrant.
it can be extremely difficult to, if this is the establishment of the league, to actually change, because it's a true culture change of a league. I've been in leagues like that, for long running leagues, where it was almost,
Trades just don't happen.
it was nearly impossible, and people just don't respond to trade offers. And the best way to get it going is to have a hub for communication.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can use we're on Sleeper, so you can use the Sleeper chat room, but it might take something more than that. And I mean, getting people's phone numbers, like being able to actually text someone one-to-one instead of everything just going through the system, have a personal relationship with the other people in the league. But having said that, the honest truth is it may not happen, and you might need to find just a different league.
I would say the two most true tips are, tip one, make a great offer. Trade a little bit more. If you want a play, Andy's done this for years, and he's talked about it as a tip. If you really believe in a guy and you want him, pay up for him. It's okay. Go get him. You know, you're like, oh, people don't accept trades, so they're afraid to be wrong. Make sure they feel like they're right. That is not always bad management to go out and pay up, throw in an extra player or two. And then the other thing is, it's part and parcel of what Mike is saying. It's communication. But it is really, really common. Like, I go out and I'll offer a ton of trades. And you know what? People have busy lives. They never see them. Oh, you don't respond to a trade. Tip 2 is make sure they see the trade.
Yeah.
Give them a text message, say, hey, I sent a trade offer over or something, because as soon as you send something that is actually seen, they will respond 9 out of 10 times with a rejection or I'll look at it or something, and it starts communication where now you can get working on it.
And maybe if you're not finding another league, replace a couple managers that are inactive, because don't underestimate the power of 1 or 2 very trade active managers.
That's true.
They do motivate trades for the entire league, and we've seen that time and time again. So we'll take a break. Some more questions after the break. All right. Well, boy, here we are. Instagram question from Shump. Trade Travis Etienne for Courtland Sutton? Question mark.
Oh, fun question. Andy?
I mean,
if you need a wide receiver, I'm fine with it.
I would hate to do it, but that doesn't make it wrong. Courtland Sutton has had 3 out of 4 top 24 weeks. The targets are what make you excited for Sutton.
It's not just the targets; it's that Bo Nix is he's
chucking it.
He's playing really good football, and he's playing like fantasy friendly football. Like they're getting explosive plays. Like you can't pull up Courtland Sutton's game log and be like, oh well, it's only been this part of the season. The beginning he was terrible. Yeah, he had Bo Nix, who was a rookie quarterback who had never played. Like this is the transformation of Bo Nix is getting better. Yeah. He's getting more comfortable with Courtland Sutton, and Travis Etienne it's doo-doo, baby.
What are just off the top of your head, without looking, maybe you're wrong, what do you interpret as some of the, or maybe the, like, what's the hardest run defense? What are the best run defense? Detroit for sure, that comes to mind. Anyone else that just jumps off the page? I mean, Detroit's usually what I think of first, but when I'm thinking of other great defenses out there, very difficult to run on.
Minnesota.
Yeah,
Minnesota.
Yeah, those are the 2 that come to mind for me. Travis Etienne's next matchups against Minnesota, and then on the road in Detroit. This is off.
You might need to be on the roids.
You're gonna need some cream.
Get on them roids, brother.
You're gonna need a donut.
You're coming off of 3 rushing attempts, and then you go and you play Minnesota, Detroit bye week. Now, I genuinely do think there are bright days ahead for Travis Etienne this season, but it's a month from now, and if you need wins, if you need a wide receiver, sure, maybe there's not. When I say I think there is, that's just a hopeful.
Pass catching is my hope there. Yep. Is with the absence of Kirk and the absence of other options that maybe.
Just go get Rico Dowdle then.
Oh God. You know.
What a world, man.
What does the success of Rico Dowdle mean for the future of this show?
I think we're going
and
under.
How many more chances that Mike's going to take on guys like this?
You got to take the chances, man. That's how you win.
I mean, look, we can't say anything right now.
I will say this. You did your best analysis work preseason to identify situations where guys that were lowly drafted running backs hit and are a top 20 running back. You identified bad situations that don't hit, like the Raiders, home
and
run.
Zach Moss.
But yes, the Bengals were
you
one that you pointed
out.
to.
Yeah.
And whether it was Zach Moss or Chase Brown, you were saying we don't necessarily know who it is, but you target that, and that was right. You're just getting lucky on Dallas because it's not a good offense.
Hey, you're leaving out the Chargers.
No.
There was 3 teams that I wanted.
That's right. And they're all hits right now.
Yeah,
So that's good work.
Guess it's good that we have a podcast that you can share that with the world. It's just we have to be around the Dowdle'ing in between the shows.
Yeah, it doesn't stop off the the airwaves are not the only place.
He comes in the Dory Dowdles. Afternoon Dowdles.
Yeah,
I mean, there's Dowdle'ing up and down the street.
No, and you don't want that. You
don't.
April Dowdles bring May shower or
No.
flowers. I couldn't remember.
Oh
I
no!
tried.
Could have
It's
just
bad.
let us finish.
It's bad. I'm sorry.
YouTube question from Techno Ye says, "What is everybody's favorite food on football Sunday?" Ice cream.
You know, I have to go Chipotle.
Yeah,
because
we're pretty Chipotle heavy on Sunday.
on Sunday specifically.
Yeah, why do we end up there? Is it just easy?
I think it's easy, and you can actually order healthy, and it's
delicious.
Not
a sponsor.
But not a sponsor.
Till we get the gold
Could
card.
be.
Please.
Could be.
They have a gold card, right?
I've seen them.
Rumors. Please sponsor Chipotle if you're out there. Big Chipotle.
We're tired of paying for it.
Yeah, every single Sunday because we're
Did
in
you
the
call
studio.
them Big Chipotle?
Yeah, I mean that's who they are. But we're here watching the games in the studio because we got the Big 9 TV set up, and pretty much every Sunday we're ordering Chipotle. And then if it goes poorly, you're right, Andy, we order ice cream.
Yeah, that's for the bad days. Also good days. Celebrational ice cream.
Yeah.
Also depressional ice cream. Pretty much just a normal day is the only day you don't eat ice cream. All right. That is going to do it for today's episode. Starts of the week and the matchups tomorrow when it will actually be football time.
It's going to
More
be great.
matchups and a double wheel of shame on Friday unless I just dip out for that day. We'll see. But in the meantime, I'll let Mike get back to Dowdle'ing, and we'll catch you tomorrow.
Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Fantasy Footballers Podcast. Join our fantasy football community on jointhefoot.com and follow us on Twitter @TheFFBallers.